How y'all doing? Welcome to Outside the Box Financials, where we think differently for a better tomorrow. So I got this individual here, got some of his numbers, and we're gonna see how we can reduce expenses, maybe save for investments, have some money for emergencies, be able to do things in life so we're not being completely not being able to do things that we want and enjoy time with the family. And yeah, just help this person out. So let's see what we got. All right, we got an income of 4,456. We got expenses of 4,256, and a cash flow of 200. What we're beginning with, but let's just organize this up so it doesn't look how it is right now, so we can see what we're working with. All right, so we got some savings at 946. We calculate this. I know this is some tough for me all, but we're gonna do this. What we're gonna do with this is basically combine this and then move it so that way we have more money to work with. We got credit cards at 1,156. We got some expenses that we cannot put on credit card, which is 960. We got stuff we can put on credit cards, is 1,098, and we got debt sitting at 59,317. And this person is utilizing the credit cards to fund the lifestyle. All right. So again, we're going to get rid of the savings portion and move this money into the cash flow. Again, this is probably difficult for some of y'all, but the emergency funds, we can push to the cash flow. Right, the holidays and birthdays that this person is saving for, we can push that to cash flow. Maintenance that they're saving for their vehicle and so on, we can push to cash flow. And I know they're saving for their babies, but also we can push that cash flow, because if we can utilize this in a better way, we can open even more funds for emergencies, holiday and birthdays, maintenance, and for babies. So why not just save that money in a bank that's not giving you too much and put it to good use, so that way this person can get out of this financial hamster wheel that's keeping them at the current level. All right. So what it does is it decrease expenses. Now it's 3,310, and increase cash flow to 1,146. That's a huge amount from 200. All right. Now we're gonna grab that 1,098 and add it under expense CC, which I got there on the left. And now we're gonna organize the 1156, 59, 317, and the 960, and it looks more cleaner. All right, we're gonna take that debt of $100 and add that to the cash flow, as we're paying a little bit more extra, and it's gonna reduce expenses to 3210 and increase the cash flow to 1246. Oh, excuse me. Now it looks way more cleaned up. Now we're gonna add the limits so that way we can see what kind of tools we're working with. We're going to reduce all these to the minimum, open even some more cash flow up. So we get the Star Card at 400, we reduce it to 105, opening up 295. Navy Fed to 80 to 250, opening up 30. USA 100 to 70, opening up 30. Capital One 80 to 48, opening up 32. Sam Levitt CC 50 to 25, opening up 25. Kawasaki CC 146 to 118, opening up 28. Taking it home CC 100 to 44, opening up 56. In total, we open up 496. What we're going to do with that, move it to the cash flow, which is bringing it up to 1,742 and reducing expenses 2,714. This is opening it up over 1,500 cash flow, which is awesome. All right, now things are looking good. Now, how are we going to get rid of some of the fat? Even make this look even better and help this person out even more. All right, and also see if we can start helping this person invest for their financial, well, for their family's future, and also save for emergencies and maybe has some funds for vacation, which this family does need it. All right, so now what is the financial system this person has? Well, let's check it out. Some other things this person is doing good is using their credit card to pay for the expenses they're able to pay for, which is good, awesome. They're using a little bit of velocity banking, even though they know they're not. Right, but what they're doing, and this isn't good, is they're saving, but they end up spending it. right? And then on their cards, they're leaving a balance, which off the Capital One, they're gaining. They gotta pay a decent amount of interest. Same thing with the USA. Same thing with Navy Fed. So that's gonna be very difficult for them to get out of the hamster wheel or the hamster wheel or the rat race of life that they're stuck in. So they were also paying additional attempts to pay off the debit card because Star Card was like at 400, Navy Fed was a little bit higher, or no, Star Card was 200, Navy Fed was at 400, and so on. And now they're not. It was good that they were trying to do that, but there's better uses of it, and we'll see as we go on throughout these slides. Now, we got, right, the hamster wheel that they're stuck in. So they go to a job, which gets direct deposit in a bank. They're using that money and also utilizing a credit card to spend. And now they're still stuck, so now they got back to the job and just rinse and repeat. But those cards that they're using to put the expenses through, they are getting a 1% reward. But still, this financial system is not the best, let's say. Right, so they ended up spending their rewards also, which is interesting. So what we want is something like this. And I showed it in previous videos, but let's go over this again. So they start off a job, which they give up time for money. They get a paycheck, they direct deposit it in a bank, and then from that bank, right now we're using what I like is as my bread and butter, the whole life policy insurance, which from the bank, they open a whole life policy and put it in there, which they build up cash value. From the cash value, of course, it gains interest, but they borrow from it. It's used as collateral. They use it, oh, my apologies. They use it as collateral. They utilize that to spend. To spend on what? Let's do investments. From investments, what investments do they get? They can get real estate or go into the financial markets. And from there, gains interest. What? That's what we want our investments to do. They borrow from it. They don't use it. They borrow from it. And then they put it back into a bank. And if they can keep this financial structure going, they'll do really great. So from here, this is how it's going to look. Just like that. Job, paycheck, bank, whole life, cash value, borrow, spend, investments, and then borrow again, put it in the bank. Keep that system going. But what is something that we want to get rid of? Two things we want to get rid of that'll give us more time to do other things, right? And still keep the system going. If you didn't guess it, it is the job and the paycheck. So from here, you get rid of those two. It still can run. And of course, you got to keep it going, but it can still run by itself, as long as the investments are doing great and you don't collapse the whole life policy. So, with that, it looks good. I got rid of the products and services and so on, because if you're spending for investments, you're getting products and services that improve, that make you more money. Like say you get a product that, I don't know, inspires you or does something for you that improves your mindset to do better, then that's great. I don't care what it can be. It can be something you put on your wall, a picture or something. Even though you might think it's a discretionary, no. If you see that picture and it just keeps you in that mindset to do good, then that's an investment. Same thing with services. If you get something, for instance, like, I don't know, you go get your car washed. It's a service. You get your car washed and waxed, and it improves your mindset because now you have it clean and you're not going to do anything to jeopardize that. That's probably kind of a lame example, but jeopardize that and it keeps you going to make some more and more money, then you're doing very, very good and it's investment. So that's what I mean by when I remove those two things. But you keep this going, you get out of that hamster wheel, and you keep the system, your financial economy going. And then how do you even improve this even more? Well, here we go. There we go. And you can even improve this even more from what I'm showing you right now. Okay? And then you start pushing into what the rich people would do. So let's all get there. Right? Let's keep the system going. Then we can get rid of the job and paycheck and not just live paycheck to paycheck and stay on there. We can actually do things that'll better ourselves and better society and better our family. So this is able to survive on its own, right? And now it's like its own economic system. So this is what we're working with right now. So we want to keep the expenses on the credit card, and these are all the interest rates, right? Some high ones too, and they're paying a decent amount for having the debt of $22,233 for the Ford Explorer. So what do we want to do now? Well, what we want to do now is take all that income and put it into the USA credit card. It's going to pay off that $3,667, bringing that whole balance to zero. And then you want to put it into a whole life policy. Use that credit card to put in the whole life policy, which brings it all the way up to $4,000, the cash value. Right? And then from there, you want to put it onto, well, from there, when the cash value goes into the whole life policy and you utilize the credit card, that USA card is going to go to $4,000. And then from there, since you only paid $3,667 from your income, you're going to have open $789 left from there. And the rest of that, you're going to put into, well, rest of that you're going to pay on to that credit card again, collect a little bit of those rewards, and then use that to go back into the whole life policy. Then here you go. There's some rewards you collect out that. So you already collected $48 in rewards. And then what else do we want to do is what we can do is call up wherever he has that, wherever you finance the car from. You can call it up, and I've done this a couple of times before. Call it up and stop the payments, and I think I did it up to 2 months. Right, which opens up, what is that, $920, but for the first month it'll be $460. You'll grab that, you'll plug that back into that USA credit card, paying it down, and what it'll do, well, what you can also do is plug it back into the whole life policy, right? Which will bring that whole life policy up to $5,249. And then that's what we can do right now. That's some good moves. What we do from here is we borrow, right? Bringing that to $3,936. And then what we can use with that is pay some of that rent, which will bring our funds to $3,536. From here, right, we'll not put it into the USAA card. We'll take that and pay off that Capital One. Reason being not the USA card because it's already at 0% interest. So holding that balance is fine, that little bit of balance that's in there. So from here, what we'll do is, again, put it into the Capital One. It'll pay off that $2,322. Right? Bring the balance to zero and bring in our funds we have left to $1,214. From there, right, we'll pay off we'll plug in the expenses through that credit card, putting $1,098 onto that Capital One card, which gives us $11 in rewards. Okay, and even that $460 gives us a little bit of rewards too. I don't know if I said that. So, now what's the next steps? Now that we got that going on, we still got the credit card payments we got to do. Right, so from here, right, the total amount now is $542 because the USAA payment, since we're putting money in there to pay for the life insurance, right, that payment's already covered. Same thing with the Capital One. Now we just got $542 left. Right, so from here, what we'll do is we'll use that $1,214, which brings our funds we have left to $672. So now we have 672. We got $672 left for what? Well, let's see. Well, if we add the rewards total that we got, the $64 in total, our total becomes $736. Now, I mean, some would say, hey, we can plug it more into the debt. No, man. You have to keep that mindset straight. So let's use that for ourselves, our family, or whatever we want to do with it. And then when your mindset upgrades, then you can utilize it maybe to pay off more debt. We need to keep that mindset sane and intact and structurally strong, or really strong, so that way we can maintain doing what I just showed you right now. All right. So again, the mindset is the key. And I know the whole life is my bread and butter, but the mindset is the main thing, right? The structure, the foundation that's needed to keep this stuff going. You didn't think that how you would have some money to spend on things, but that's good. Right. So during the first month, what did we do? This was all for the first month. It's a lot of work, but if done correctly, right, we can start on a good financial path. So for the first month, what do we do? We increase cash flow and reduce expenses by over $1,500. Right? We got 736 we can use our way, just like Burger King, you can have your way. Right? So 736 you can use for what you want, and for your family and so on. Right? We open up a whole life to start building strong financial system, and it's also collecting interest. We reduce interest payments on 2 credit cards to 0, saving $89 in interest per month. Okay. Now we push card payments to the right, opening up $460 per month for 2 months. Okay, we're collecting credit card rewards and using them correctly. Yes, using them for your own discretionary spending is good. Again, the mindset. I don't know how much I can say that. It is the mindset. We reduce total credit card payments. We got money available for self and family discretionary stuff. Like I said, the 736. We reduced debt from $59,317 to $58,297. Right, so by $1,020 we reduced debt. The amount available is $1,932 for emergencies or whatever else, but mainly emergencies and rainy days. What did we not include? That could even make this system even more stronger or reduce debt even quicker. Well, this is what we didn't include. Any found money, meaning any money that's given to us from any competitions, from our military folks, when they right, when they change duty stations, when they go on temporary duty and they get per diem, housing allowance, stuff like that. On the civilian side, maybe one day you just thought you should play the lottery one time. You don't really like doing it, but you played one time and you won like $300. You found some money on the floor, right? Somebody owed you money and they all of a sudden just gave it to you. That could greatly improve paying off debt and increasing money for investments, right? Any raises didn't include that, and this is just 1 month, right? Any tax refunds, any discounts, any savings, any investments did not include any of that. So what happens if we keep this going? How would it look? Not changing any numbers, not doing anything extra, and so on. And we included some of this additional stuff that we did not include. Well, let's check it out. So for right now, by that 1,020, if we didn't change nothing up, right, debt by the end of the year be reduced by $12,240. By $12,240 per year. Right, keeping it simple. So all the debt would be paid off in less than 5 years, which is great. But again, you have to maintain that, and the family has to jump on board in order to do that. Okay, so how can we reduce this even more? Well, say for instance our tax refund was $4,000. Right, I think that's maybe average, who knows, but $4,000. Right, plus that 1,020 equals $16,240. So now debt will be paid off in less than 4 years. Even better. But how can we even go even further? Well, let's check it out. So we found one. This is $500 a year and $1,000 in discount. What do I mean by discounts? For instance, if you go to the store and you're planning on buying something and it was supposed to be $100, but they had their sale for 30% off and now it's $70. You should still have it where instead of you now being able to purchase a little bit more with the extra $30, what you should do is just, if it was $100, but all of a sudden now it's 70, you should put that into the, you should save that and put it into whole life, or put it to better uses to reduce your debt, or maybe investments on. But right now we're using it for reducing debt, and I think $1,000 for the whole year isn't something crazy. And I found money, you probably find more than that throughout the whole year. But in total, you got $1,500. In total, it's $17,740 with the tax refund and the reduction of $1,020, which is now around 3. It's like 3.28 years you'll have, like, so 3 years and like 2 or 3 months that you'll have debt paid off. But now, how can you do this even? Now, if your mindset improved, how can this get reduced even more? Well, if your mindset improved and the family's on board, you could use some of that 736 and use it to pay off the debt even faster. Right? So now, in total, you got $8,832 a year, and that money you just opened up. Okay? So now, let's say you just take 2,000 of it, or 2,832 of it. Now you just got 5,000 for the whole year, which is, I mean, for every month. So that's what, $600? No, $500 a month to spend. And now using that 2,832, it increases the amount you're putting towards debt at 20,572. Now 2.83 years you'll have this paid off. Astonishing. That means you can start working on other things than trying to figure out how to pay off debt. So what else can it increase? Right, paying off the debt and keeping the financial structure and system in place. So we can monetize skills. If you have any skills, monetize it. Right, see how to monetize it. If not, and you're a hard worker or you want something a little bit, I guess, simpler, get another job. I know you don't want to do that because it takes time, but we can do that. And then you can ask family and friends. So if they can get you some money or help you out, that'd be great. And if you create great financial structure and system, and it looks like you have great habits and you're good steward of money, they'll trust you and they'll pay you back. All right, moving on. So this is how we started. No bueno. After the first hours, look what we got. Right, even first few hours, even probably less than that. Look what we got. Okay, we got expenses now at 2014. Cash flow 1,742. Reduced credit card payments. So all in all, that was looking good. But 1 month after, what are we looking at? Our income increased, expenses decreased again, cash flow opened up. The car's at 0 for the next month, right? We got 2 credit card payments that went to 0 and went to 0% interest because we're fulfilling the requirements for that, right? The USAA card, right, got $4,000 now, but hey, that's good, right? That's fine because we got 0% interest, so we're not even paying interest on it, and the payments are 0 because it's being fulfilled. Right? All the other debts decrease except the Ford Explorer because we moved the monthly payments forward by 2 months. Now we got a whole life policy of $3,936, which is not bad debt. So we got to rethink debt also. That's why I'm saying we got to improve the mindset. So even though we added a debt and then we increased one of the cards, it is still fine. Because now we also have an asset which is collecting 5% interest on 5,249. So that's crazy, huh? How we're using money from our asset to make money, even though we have a new loan. I don't know how to explain that, but again, we're doing good, And that whole life policy loan is at 6%, but yet we're making more than what that loan is, so it's covering each other. So this is great. This is extremely awesome. But let's keep going further so I can show you. Now, right here in about 5 years, say nothing changed with the income, right? Your expenses are now 1,498, which is awesome. Now cash flow increased exponentially to 3,022. So let's say expenses didn't increase, rent stayed the same. Now look, you got a debt 6% at 200,520, which is 12,031 a year. You're like, oh my gosh, wow, that's a lot to pay. Nope, because again, we're rethinking debt. We got assets, and then we're using money for what it is, for what it's supposed to be. But now we got an asset at cash value $267,360. Right, so it's about 66,000, right? That's in the cash value that's not being used. And then we're gaining off that 267,000, 5%, which is 13,368, minus that 12,031, so the net is about 1,200 or 1,300. Now we're actually investing, or not investing, but getting money for our future. And also we can utilize for other things. And maybe have that money for emergencies, vacations, birthdays, and so on, depending on how things go, right? What the Capital One USA credit cards turn into assets? Yes, because now you're getting $11 a month and $45 a month. And again, what is an asset? An asset is something that makes you money, right? You have an income getting it, so that's an asset. And then now we own the Ford Explorer and the motorcycle. Now this person is doing great. Now this person can move on to bigger and better things, right? So now things are just simple. Like this is way more simpler to track, have less stress to think about than what in the beginning this person had. Now freedom is opened up because now they're financially free. At this stage, they're probably working at their job, but if they really wanted to, they potentially could go move, get another job, right? Wait a little bit, and then more freedom will open up. But the freedom of not having to stress about living paycheck to paycheck, not having money for their family or for emergencies, is now, right? It's now disappearing because now they have a sound financial system, right? Their focus is on better things than focusing on finances. I'm telling you, finances is a extreme killer of like marriages. Might not be number one. I forgot what number one was, but finances is up there and it's very high. So we need to keep these families together and right ensure that people don't stress over stuff like this. And again, the mindset is the key. And once you get to this level, that means your mindset is improved enough, so that way you can start transitioning into the upper echelon of greater financial systems and structures. So, first 5 years, building financial structure and system. That's what the first 5 years was. Okay. From here, the second 5 years is going to be building up, or isn't building. Is what this person's going to need to do or have to do, because that first 100,000 is particularly the hardest, and assets. Because once they build up that 100,000, it becomes kind of exponentially how things grow, especially if your mindset increased or upgraded to that point also. All right, and then 5 years and beyond, it's basically just building wealth and the legacy, and having time to better society and everything else, and focus on things what matters. And once you get in that stage, right, I might make a video about it. There's different things, right? Different financial structures. Some of the basics is included, but different financial structure for people that probably have like a million or more. Because with that amount of money, you can do excessive amount of things and greatly improve your wealth, and then start building trust and so on. But that's what I got for now. Alright, hopefully this was educational. This helped y'all understand I know my explanations, it's kind of difficult to explain. I'm getting better. Once I get better, I'll be able to explain even. I'll be able to explain even better and be better at this. But again, thank you for joining me. Y'all have a good one out there. Until next time. Bye.